Start transmission. 4, 3, 2, 1. Broadcasting to you live from the Static Clan compound, you are now listening to the Jaysin Static Experience, a podcast from an award-winning nobody, noted raconteur, Renaissance man, a man with a sailor's mouth, but he has never sailed, and who likes to talk about a cornucopia of topics. This podcast is brought to you by www.jaysinstatic.com, a place filled with all your pop culture antiques and collectible needs. And now your host, the one and only Jaysin Static. Alrighty. All right, let's do this. Welcome back, everybody. This is Jaysin Static with another episode of the Jaysin Static Experience. And today I have a treat for you guys. Like I always say, a treat, because you guys have none other than my best friend, probably my only friend who's put up with me the longest. You guys know him as TA Flags. For those listening on YouTube and some of the other places, I've had him on before. It's been a while. He goes by TA Flags on YouTube and on Facebook and a lot of other places. I know him as Rob. He's a master woodworker, Marine veteran, and an all-around badass dude. So without further ado, my friend Rob with TA Flags. What is up, my brother?
What's up, dude? How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing okay, man. I'm doing okay. Just doing the grind, man. Back on the podcast, man. Another episode. I'm out here in the wood shop, and that's all I do. I don't listen to music when I'm in the shop. Yeah. I watch the podcast on YouTube and a few others, so I don't ever listen to music. It's always someone's podcast I'm listening to. So I hit yours up every day. That's good. I mean, and that's what support's all about, man. Friends and family should support each other. Especially if you got a creative in the family, somebody that creates stuff, somebody that has a small business. You don't necessarily have to buy anything from the person. That's a plus if you do. But just sharing their stuff out helps them out a lot more than what you could imagine. Yep. And I'm always on other live streams on YouTube, and I'm constantly mentioning Jaysin Static and the JSE, and I think I've sent a few people over. Nice, yeah. You had a couple of people, Dirty Lawn Thug, I think his name is, and a couple other people I've noticed on some of the episodes back when I was doing live streams. But I think they're still watching. Maybe hopefully they are. Dirty, if you hear this and you're not watching on all of my platforms, in particularly Spotify, because that's the one that I got to push the most. Spotify and Podbean are the ones that I got to push the most. But if you're listening on YouTube, folks, that's good too. At least you're listening. For the people who don't know you, that might listen to this podcast, that's just out there in the ether somewhere, people that's not really, might come across it. Who is TA Flags and who is Rob? Give like a brief summary.
I joined the Marine Corps after high school, and after 13 years, to make a long story short, I needed to find something to fill the void that I was feeling. I felt like I needed to give back still to this day, 7 years later. I feel like a piece of shit civilian. I feel like I should be doing more. So I started True Allegiance Flag Company 3 years ago on June 1st. And it was just something I started off as a Pinterest project that I wanted to do for myself. Mm-hmm. Scrolling through Pinterest one day bored, I was like, hey, I'm going to build this pallet flag for myself. Right. And so I built one, and, I posted on Facebook to brag about it, to show it off. And someone asked me if I wanted to sell it. So heck yeah, I can sell it. I can always build me a different one. Right. So my first 10 pallet wood flags I posted on Facebook. They all sold within 30 minutes of me posting them. Nice. So I figured I might be onto something, and I should run with it. Yeah. And, at first, like I said, it was just something to occupy my time. Right. To keep my mind off of the things that I wanted to keep my mind off of. Mm-hmm. And it worked. It worked great. And I ran with it and made it into what it is today. I probably have total, across all platforms, I probably have a good 10,000 followers. Mm-hmm. On my platforms. Yeah. And, it keeps growing. It's growing bigger by the day. Yeah. And it's something good. It's my full-time gig now.
Yeah.
Last year I decided to bite the bullet after wanting to do it forever. And I made it happen. It was something scary.
Right.
And I'm thankful that I'm able to do it right at my 2-car garage.
Right. So, what was it? What was the initial thing that made you want to just go, essentially dive all in and just be like, screw it, I'm gonna go for the gold, essentially. What was that initial
since I've been out of the Marine Corps, I got out in 2013. When I got out, it took me almost a year to actually find a job.
Yeah.
And and I'm not talking looking here and there. I'm talking I was court mandated to find a job, and I needed to show proof of applying for 10 jobs a week.
Yeah.
So I applied for 10 jobs a week for a year before I was hired somewhere. And I would, I would apply for damn near anything.
Right.
I have a logistics background, so I was naive and I thought that I would have no trouble finding a job when I got out.
Right.
I can literally sign off on an aircraft's paperwork to depart the flight line saying, yes, you're approved, your load is secured, everything's good, you can take off. But as a civilian, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I had no credentials whatsoever when you get out of the Marine Corps. It's almost like it never happened.
Right.
They see, employers see, oh, you're in the Marine Corps, they're going to think two things. They're going to think he's a hard-nosed asshole, we don't want him on our team, or he's disciplined and structured and he could be a good asset.
Right.
So there's a fine line in between that.
Right.
And I guess it was I was leaning on the side of the asshole that a lot of the employers were seeing.
Right.
So, and it was hard. It's very hard adjustment. I did landscaping for cash for quite some time.
Right.
You know that.
Yep.
And, when I found an actual job, I didn't last too long because, being in the Marine Corps, I did 6 deployments.
Right.
I did a lot of time in Iraq. And I get my first real gig as a civilian, and I have 2 Iraqis. And I'm not saying they grew up in Iraq as little kids and immigrated to America.
Right.
No, I'm talking like I could talk to these guys like me and you talk about our hometown.
Right.
We know exactly where everything is. If you need to know where a store is, I can give you directions. That's the way we talked about Iraq. And they had it out for me from day one. And, I told the CEO, I said, this isn't going to work. I need you to either move me or I need you to move them. And I gave them the warning, and they did take me serious. And, being newly transitioned out of the Marine Corps, it definitely didn't work. So I thought I landed my dream job too. It was what I wanted to do. And they ruined it for me. And I'm going to blame them. Yes, I'm going to blame them.
Hey, it's you can blame whoever you want to blame, So
they found out who I was, what I did, and they ran with it until I broke.
Right.
And like I said, transitioning out of the military right away, going into that kind of situation with, I don't say they were, I guess you can call them antagonizers.
Right.
Because that's what they did every day. It was something new. They asked me what I did, if I killed anyone, if my people ever got killed by, insurgents, and things like that. And, I got to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore.
Right. Yeah, I can understand where that would be a little bit rough to take, especially coming, right out of a deployment, essentially right out of the service. I mean, I'm not a service member. Everybody knows that, but I could definitely understand the feeling of, kind of being berated by it. Yeah, I could understand. I mean, I don't blame you for leaving, but
after that, I think finding a new job. I got into healthcare maintenance management, and I did that gig for quite some time. But I just felt like I loved it. I loved doing that, and I loved taking care of the elderly in the nursing homes. But I was never 100% happy with them. Like I said earlier, I felt like a piece of crap civilian.
Yeah.
I needed to be doing more. I needed to be giving back. I needed a mission.
Right.
And I had to find something. So that's where True Allegiance came into play. say. Honestly, it fell into my lap that I was building myself a pallet project. Why it kind of worked out that way. So it's taken off, and like I said, I wasn't 100% happy with any of my job.
Right.
And I got to the point where I was able to do that with TA Flags.
Right.
It does pretty good. Like any other retail, it's slow here and there, and then you have your fluctuation in sales and things like that. But that's just how it goes.
Yeah. What's that you talked about that void that you had after your service. By the way, thank you for that. I don't think I've ever said that to you. I don't think I ever have, but I mean, I do,
Yeah, you don't have to.
What's that void that you felt that you had? Because I've had, like I said a while ago, like I've never been a service member, but that void, even for me, I've had that void in me too, and I still kind of do have that void, because I'm not fully on my path that I want to be on. I'm kind of like half on, half off. So there's that little bit of a void that I have. What's that void like? What was that essential void that that need for more, and that need for a certain mission? And
a lot of it has to do with the band of brothers.
Right.
You go to work every day, and a lot of people don't know, but the military is just like a regular job.
Yeah.
You go to work from 7:30 to 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
That's the job. You get up early and you exercise with your guys, and then you shower, go to work, and you get off at a regular time, and you do whatever, unless you're like in the field or getting ready to deploy. So a lot of it is being around the friends,
right,
the family, even if they're higher ranking than you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, and I think of them as father figures, big brothers.
Right.
I have one of my bosses. He, still this day, he reminds me of a dad to me.
Right.
The structure.
Right.
People say in the Marine Corps you get brainwashed and this and that. Well, no, that's not the case. You're definitely broken down from who you are and
mm-hmm.
built back up into a Marine. And you're given these ethics and morals that you never knew you had.
Right.
Yeah, some people can think that's brainwashing, but I think it's molding you into a better human.
Right.
They're molding you into a war fighter and teaching you what you need to know to keep you alive.
Right.
So yeah, definitely the brotherhood. Of course, friends are, you and, I don't have many friends.
Right.
In the civilian world. For one, I don't get close to many people
mm-hmm.
For specific reasons of being afraid that you're going to lose them, like I've lost my other friends.
Right.
So you put a wall up and you don't allow yourself to let anyone in.
Right.
So with that, it's just you build this bond that I can't even explain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because I can see, it happened to me not too long ago. I was standing in line at the gas station, and a guy behind me was just looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy looking at? He just kept looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "You're a Marine, weren't you?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Awesome." He says, "I was a corpsman," which a Navy corpsman is, they're attached to Marine Corps units. We don't have, in the Marine Corps, you don't have our own medical. We use the Navy's medical.
Mm-hmm.
And, corpsmen come with us.
Right.
And we deploy, and they're attached to our units and things like that.
Right.
So it's almost like you just know.
Right.
If I see someone in the store, I can just tell who they are by their demeanor.
Right.
I can tell what service they were in. I could tell if they were a Marine or if they were Army, and that's even including if they don't have any of their motivated hats on and stupid military t-shirts.
Right.
You can identify that without having identifiers like an Army hat on.
Right.
So yeah, you build this bond like no other.
Right.
And it's kind of creepy if you really think about it, that you can sense someone.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing with me on
that void,
like a void.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. I know I've ran the comparisons with you. It's similar in a little way. Like me coming from the pro wrestling world. Mm-hmm. Like you build a bond with people because granted, pro wrestling is nothing like active duty war and stuff like that and going out fighting. But with wrestling, you essentially put your life in the hands of somebody else every time that you go out there and perform. So you have to have a little bit of trust, and you gotta kind of bond with them, and you do build bonds and really strong bonds with some people. Some people you don't. I've went both ways, where I've had really strong bonds with a bunch of people, and then I've had some pretty shitty bonds with people. I just did not get along with them at all. But that bond that that people in whether it be the Marines or active duty people or former soldiers and stuff like that, like I think I can somewhat understand that bond aspect.
Yeah, it's crazy because lately, when I listen to podcasts, it's usually the host is usually prior military. They have previous military guests on. It's not all talking about military, but it's talking about business and things like that.
Right.
The other day I was listening to a podcast. I can't remember her name, but recently a Army soldier came up missing.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
They found her, and
yeah,
it just like it hit me like it was like that was really my sister,
Right.
But, I didn't even know her.
Right.
But just because we share a common bond, it makes you a little emotional thinking about something like that.
Right.
Just because she was in the military and she experiences things that you experience.
Right. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I said that bond aspect is that I can understand, because I'm that same way when somebody in the professional wrestling field, even if I never knew who they were, never met them, never crossed paths with them, it's one of those things when you hear of an old timer dying and you're like, man, like another one gone type thing.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing, you hear, how the military vets, when they come back home, they're kind of not well off, some of them are, really struggling and everything like that. And a lot commit suicide and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing that happens in the professional wrestling world. The amount of professional wrestlers over the last 30, 40 years that's committed suicide just because they can't work anymore. They're not as good as they were. They don't look as good as they were, or they're just in too much pain, because, whether people want to believe it or not, like the pro wrestling world, it physically breaks your body down, and it can really hurt you. And, it's one of those things where I see the parallels. They're not on the same level, but I see the parallels a lot, because, the amount of suicides in the pro wrestling world is, I wouldn't say it's on the same level as the amount of, service vets that do it, but I can definitely run that parallel. And it's one of those things. It's really sad to see. And it's like, man, I wish I could have helped this person almost,
it happens out of nowhere.
Yeah.
With military, we like to keep our feelings bottled up inside until they can't be bottled up anymore.
Right.
And then it's too late after that. A lot of, and that's one of the symptoms of someone fighting the depression.
Mm-hmm.
I did it, and I've done it in front of you.
Yeah.
You don't know. I can talk to you like this, and then the next minute I want to kill myself.
Right.
It's something that's hidden so well in the military nowadays. It's why it comes as a shock most of the time.
Right.
We're not as hard as many people think we are.
Right.
We break really easy.
After all, you're human nonetheless, so you might be that hard-nosed Marine or the hard-nosed military vet, but you're still a human being overall, and you do have that bit of humanity and pain that most people don't realize, that even just with people in general, and that's one of the things that I've me. You've listened to probably every single show that I've ever done.
Yeah.
and I've talked a lot about, depression and people that struggle. And one of the best things that I ever did for myself is this, I know it's a lot harder for some people, but one of the best things that I ever did for myself in the depression that I have, and I'm not going to say that it's gone, because I still have my days where, I'm bad off, but it's one of those things that talking with people, or even just writing stuff down, to try to get it out of my head. I've found that's helped me a lot over the years. I don't know if you've ever done anything like that, but
that's why I build.
Yeah, build
it. It's my therapy. I did it. I started it to give back, but when I'm giving back and when I see, sometimes if they're local or within, hell, I'll drive 400 miles to Springfield, Missouri to deliver a flag.
Yeah.
It depends on the task at hand.
Right.
But just seeing a man that served in World War II hold one of my flags and see him smile, that does it for me.
Yeah.
That's what I need, and that fills that void.
Yeah.
And it's hopefully I'll be able to do that for a very long time.
So essentially, what's your purpose with TA flags? I know we've kind of ran over it and glossed over it, but you're in the thick of it. You're 3 years in essentially, and what is your further down the road type thing?
It's I definitely love to grow, to a level of a few employees, but I don't really know when that's going to happen yet.
Right.
I have a hard time letting go. And me and Dirty and a lot of others. Dirty was live last night, and we were talking about your trade, what you do, how you can find a decent employee, how to find a great employee that you can trust. And I'm not quite there yet. For one, I don't have time to teach because I have I have a 4 to 6, sometimes 8 week turnaround time.
Right.
My days are scheduled now. I fell off the wagon for a little while and was kind of everywhere, but now I'm back on schedule. I feel a little bit better about the progress, but it's going to be a little bit before I can actually, I never know, and I might not find anyone.
Right.
It's something as simple as you got to think about, is this guy going to be taught what he needs to know and realize he can do this himself and then leave and go do it himself and be another competitor of mine?
Right.
Or B, can he be taught my style? Because everyone has their own style.
Right.
And mine is very distinct compared to everyone else's. Mine are not by far the best flags, but if you line up 4 or 5 different flags, you can pin out which one's mine.
Right.
It's just, it's I guess you can call it a trademark look. So yeah, from that, it's going to be a little bit, I'd definitely love to grow as a company. I am right now, last night, a little bit this morning, I'm getting ready to release a collection of farmhouse signs.
Right.
You definitely can't just be a flag builder. In my county alone, there's 3 different people, that's 3 or 4 that you can find on Facebook Marketplace that's building flags.
Right.
So after you realize that, you got to branch out, you got to do other things. So I do signs, I do flag, some other small things. I do everyday carry trays, like a dump tray.
Right.
For guys to put all their stuff on, empty your pockets,
right.
Put it on the tray so it's just not all over the counter. So yeah, I had to branch out, and you got to do other things.
Right.
You definitely can't spread yourself too thin.
Yeah.
But I think right now I'm getting to where I'm comfortable with the items that I offer, and I think I'm at a wide enough variety that I can maintain for a little while.
Right.
So if I do grow, if I do get more orders, yes, I'm going to have to find out a way to improve my times on building, but it's going to be very difficult right now. I definitely can't pay an employee.
Right.
I do have 3 kids in the house, but they're not at the age yet to where I want to turn them loose on a saw yet.
Right. Ethan, I don't think Ethan will be able to run a saw.
And I could, but it's just, the fatherly instinct of not wanting to turn my back on him while he's using a saw. You know what I mean? So maybe in a few years when the boys get a little older, if they want to do this with me, I foresee that being my only way to expand. So yeah, if one of the 3 boys want to learn the trade, they want to do this, and make a little extra money, I think it's a good opportunity for us to expand.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes, but that'll be a little bit down the road.
Yeah.
I want to get the hell out of this 2-car garage.
Right.
And a lot of people, I don't bring my customers to my shop.
Right.
If I do know them, I'll let them come pick one up. If they order, they want to pick it up. Of course, I know the person. Yeah. I'm gonna let them come by and pick it up.
Right.
And I've had numerous people come by and say, "Oh wow, I thought you worked out of like a warehouse or something."
Right.
Like they thought I was a major corporation.
Yeah. It's kind of like a punch in the gut almost. You're like, nope, I'm just a guy in a 2-car garage.
It's kind of cool because they're like, wow, they thought this was a major production.
Right.
And I'm just behind the scenes, like the Wizard of Oz.
Right.
With my, with my little tools back here behind this curtain.
Right.
And I think a lot of that has to do with social media. When I post things, I usually use the words we, us, to make it seem like there's more than one.
Right.
To make it seem like it's bigger than what it is.
Right.
It's obviously working. So,
well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of a thing that you do. Like, I've done that before. But with what I do, on the podcast, like it's legit just me.
Right.
Like I don't. The only other person that I can include is the distributor.
Right.
Is and that's Podbean. Podbean, they don't pay me. I mean, well, technically they don't pay me to say that, but they're the only people that I could even include in helping me because they're the distributor. Other than that, I find the guest, I book the guest, I edit the episodes, I record the episodes, I try to find topics to talk to people about, and if not, like we just kind of spitball it like we're doing. But it is a grind when you're essentially in the trenches with yourself, and all you have is you to rely on.
Right.
And
I have no one to blame for anything but myself.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of those things that I think I don't think people understand on the backside of being a creative or even running a small business like you do. Like people don't realize the amount of effort and struggle and that people go through. Like I can tell you, like when I brought the podcast back to doing it the way I'm doing it now, going five episodes a week, that was like it was insane to do. Like, and that was me coming home from a full-time job every night editing until morning to just drop it the next morning, and then just to do the same thing all over again. And that was at that time, when I did that, that was working 10 hour days.
Yeah.
At the restaurant. So like, man, like that was a struggle, and like I had a lot of sleepless days and nights. Like,
yeah, I know how it is. It's definitely hard, and a lot of people, even it's probably the same ones that think I'm operating out of a giant warehouse somewhere. They also probably think that I'm working in an air conditioning environment. But I'm telling you this right now, I'm in a garage that's probably about 90 degrees recording a podcast.
Oh yeah. Well, man, hey, I know all about being. I know all about 90 degrees because I work in a freaking 90-degree kitchen. Exactly.
And
10-hour days.
I don't like to use it as an excuse, and I don't mind the heat. I think I'm very well adjusted to the heat. But I'm out in the shop 10 hours a day sometimes. 6 days a week, and there's no airflow. I have 2 fans, and they're filtered fans, so they're actually filtering the air for me. They're not here to circulate any air. They're here to clean the air for me.
Right.
So there's no breeze coming in here. It's definitely hotter in this garage with the door open than it is outside. And I don't mind it. I come out here and I grind and I do what I'm supposed to do. I drink lots of water and just put my head down and work. But a lot of people, they don't realize. They think I'm building this stuff, and they think that I'm Hobby Lobby.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, a lot. You see, and that's a lot of people don't know. Like me and you, we kind of work in unison with each other, but we're in different spaces.
Yeah,
we bounce ideas off of each other. If he has an idea for something, he shoots it to me. If I have an idea for something, I shoot it to him. And it's one of those things where we're in 2 totally different spaces and areas of business. But I'm just like, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think this would be good?
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think this would be good? And I'm like, hey, man, I think that sounds good. Or, nah, I don't know about that one. But
it's always good to reach out to creative minds. For a long time in the Marine Corps, I wasn't using my creativity.
Right.
And that's a time in my life where I feel like I wasted drinking and partying, and I would rather have that time back to use my creative side. And you never know, I could have possibly took my first clothing brand to a different level if I would have started earlier.
Right.
Many of you don't know, I knew I was getting out of the Marine Corps, so I wanted to try something. I wanted to start a business before I got out. So it was about 2 years before I got out. I started my own clothing line, printing T-shirts and things like that. And it was working great because I was living at Long Beach at the time. I literally could walk down the street and get any supplies that I need whatsoever, wholesale, and T-shirts, ink, screen printing supplies, things like that. And, I had photo shoots. I knew photographers. I knew I would go to T-shirt release parties for Crooks and Castles.
Right.
Big brands, shoe release parties for like Vans and other brands, and I was able to network, and I had resources, and, like I said, I had access to photographers in Hollywood, and we would do photo shoots for my new T-shirts that I released. And I got out and I treaded water for a little bit in Long Beach, and things didn't work out there because it's very expensive and some other reasons. But I just wanted to come home. I got out of the Marine Corps. I didn't see anyone that I was used to seeing every day, and I felt like I was missing something, and that was home. So I brought what I had with me, what was on my back. I brought my screen printing supplies and my clothes, and came back home. So the brand didn't last much longer after I came home due to a few reasons. I lost a lot of resources. I literally had to drive 3 hours to get any kind of screen printing supplies if I needed it right then and there. I had to order all my T-shirts online, which took time. So I decided just to let it go. I thought it was pretty successable. I had a few international sales,
I still have some of the merch. I wear it all the time still.
I have a lot. I think I have them all. I got the rest out of my storage. I kept one of each shirt that I ever printed.
I still wear them all the time.
It's funny though, because I got them out of storage. They've been in there for probably a few years. And other T-shirts, other brands were in there too. And the shirts from the other brands would be literally falling apart. The logos or the screen printing would be falling off. But none of that happened to my shirts. My shirts were solid. Like the designs were still intact and everything. And I was like, damn, I had a pretty damn good thing. So like I said, it was a mindset. It was a mindset issue and a supply issue. So I think, if I would have started that a few years earlier, I would have had a solid foundation for transition out of the Marine Corps. But I think I just started it a little too late. So I've always dabbled in the T-shirt game. I still have merch. I helped you with your merch when you started doing it. I'm going to start adding more to this True Allegiance brand. And a few other things. It's just T-shirts have always been there for me. Design. Hell, my first T-shirt was produced when we were in 8th grade spring fling. I designed shirts. I designed yearbook covers. So design was always there. But I feel like I wasted a lot of my time in the Marine Corps. A lot of my free time in the Marine Corps, where I could have been developing my creative skills a little more.
And that's something that I noticed that I did too. Like I was while I was in school, I was always a really creative person in school. I was one of those weird, unique kids that I sucked at school. Like school, everything about school, I sucked at. Math, English.
I'm not agreeing with you. I understand.
Math, English, everything. I sucked at it. But one thing that I always excelled in was art classes. And, I always had straight A's through art classes. And art classes and like physical classes where I had to physically do things. But like when I had to sit down with a book and like learn out of the book, like I was like, nah, that stuff's trash to me. Like I can't do this stuff. So and I did almost every single art class in high school that you could think of. I did drawing. I did introduction to art history, painting, ceramics, design. So that passion and that drive for, that essentially cooked the juices in my head, like I was just like, like I remember the first time I had a design class. In one of the classes I had to design a floor plan for a house. And that got, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but it triggered something in my head in that one design class. So for the next several years, even after high school was over, like I'd still sit there every once in a while. I'll catch myself designing out floor plans for houses.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why am I doing
around that time? That's when I thought I wanted to be an architect.
Yeah.
Because I drew a lot, and I took architectural drafting and things like that. Yeah. AutoCAD classes, and then for some reason I feel like I was talked out of it because I was told that you don't make any money unless you're a commercial architect.
Right.
But still, and then
really depends on what you're thinking about money. If you're wanting to be like, big time, Trump style mogul type thing. Yeah. I mean, you'd probably have to go into commercial stuff, but I mean, you can make a good living on building houses and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so. It's more of a contracting thing now, I believe. But I think I could have created my own developer firm.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It was just like my parents, my mom, my whole family was just like, you should go into art, you should go to school for art, do stuff like that. And I was just like, nah, I just need to find my place. I need to find out what I want to do. And I was one of those kids where like I didn't really have a goal. After I got out of high school, I just wanted to work.
Yeah.
Like most kids when they get out of high school, I wouldn't say most, a good half of them, at least they have an idea of what they want to do. Like, I want to go to school and I want to do this, and I see that from the kids that I work with in the restaurant business. A lot of them went, there's a couple of them that I work with now. Well, he wanted to be a lineman for the electric company, and there's another one that we have, he wanted to be a lineman. And then one of the other kids that recently went away, he went away last year. He wanted to get into, I think he's in the Army. Yeah, he wanted to join the Army. So like me, I didn't have any of that. I just wanted to work. I wanted to do my thing, and I wanted to find myself. Bad thing about that is I think I did that way too long. Like I just worked and I grinded and I did my thing, but I essentially never really looked at, what I actually wanted to do. I just worked to work, and I worked to live instead of living to work, or I lived to work instead of work to live type thing. And I just did a bunch of stuff that I didn't really care about doing. And finally after, and I've dabbled in everything. I've built windows for skyscrapers. There's a handful of skyscrapers in New York City that I built, that I helped build. I've done flooring in houses and new construction building. There's apartment buildings in St. Louis that I helped build.
Yeah.
I did flooring in them. I've done everything from factory work in cereal plants, box factories, all kinds of stuff, and nothing ever filled that. Essentially, what we said earlier, nothing filled that void of what I wanted to do. And then I got into pro wrestling. I was like, this is good. And I did that for several years. I did that for about 4 or 5 years. And it was one of those things where I would probably still be doing it today, but at that same time, I had a lot of personal issues going on. And I just felt I needed to get away from it, or I would end up being one of those statistics of pro wrestling.
Right.
So it eventually went several more years, and I think I finally found that lane and that void of artistic expression that I've always needed and wanted, that my family for so long told me that I needed to do.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know how to express it. So I finally figured out and how to express that artistic drive and endeavor that I needed. And I'm able to do that with podcast. I'm able to do that with the Static brand clothing that I push out. And hopefully if my operations grow more, I will be able to do a lot more on the back end of what I wanted to do too, because like I've had this urge over the last several years to get back into ceramics and sculpting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't have the means for it. I definitely don't have the money to do it.
You should have told me that 2 years ago. I had a kiln.
Well, hell, see, damn.
You gotta open your mouth. See, Here you go again. Waiting too damn long,
man. But like, damn. Jesus Christ, Jaysin, what's wrong with you, man?
You remember the unpainted gnome?
Yeah.
The other statues that I brought? Yeah, that was from my old job. We had the kiln there, but it wasn't hooked up, and we had all that ceramic.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I still wouldn't have had a place for it. Like I can't put a kiln in my kitchen.
Put a kiln in your fucking kitchen.
Like that's one of those things. You just gotta you want to do it, but if you know that you're not in the place to do it,
right?
It's one of those things that you got to sacrifice until you're able to get into that space, and that's what my ultimate goal is. I know we've talked about this a lot of the ultimate goal of both me and you.
Yeah,
and it's kind of I've told people like it's almost like a Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory type thing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
we want to get a building. We want to get a building and just throw everything in it.
Yeah, we'll have it one day.
Yeah, and that's something that I constantly do. That I'm always sending them links and stuff. I'm like, what do you think about this building? And he's just like, well, yeah, but like, it's cool, but like, bro, it's like $500,000. And I'm just like, we got to dream, Rob. We got to dream, brother. We got to push for it. And it's a fun thing to do, man.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to keep your creative mind going, and that's what I do a lot. It's I seem to never turn it off. Always got something new I'm thinking of, a new design, a new way to build something. I definitely always thinking of easier ways to improve my product.
Right.
That's the big thing. Improve it. Seeing if you can make it any cheaper without making it look any different, without compromising the quality.
Right.
My mind's always going. It doesn't stop. I'm usually on my feet. When Jessie works, I get up with her 5 a.m., sometimes a little earlier. So after that, I'm on my feet from 5 a.m. till about 9 every day. Sometimes when, people say, I need to take a break, I need to watch TV, I need to decompress. Well, that's when my anxiety and stress begins to build, is when I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. Like I got family in town right now, and I bounce in and out. Like I'll go hang out with them for a couple hours, and then I'll bounce back over here and do something that I need to do, whether it be on the podcast thing, hit up people, push out stuff, or on the website, by the way, www.jasonstatic.com for all your antiques, collectible needs, all kinds of cool stuff on there. Shameless plug. But and my mom, she told me last night, she's like, damn, she's like, I've been here almost a week now, and I haven't seen you a whole lot. I was just like, well, Mom, like I can't just sit down. Like I got stuff I got to do. I love y'all, but like I got stuff I got to do. I got to keep this stuff moving. If I don't keep it moving, like then I get that complacency mindset in me, and then next thing I know, a day or two goes by, and then I'm behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, that's I have to keep busy 24/7. Usually I'm off my feet for the first time when I eat. Sometimes I eat standing up. Most of the time I do eat standing up. But yeah, once I lay down at night, it's if I don't go right to sleep, or if I'm not occupying my mind, sometimes if Jessie has to work, she has to be up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm not tired when, I lay down. So I'm watching a podcast or I'm watching someone's live stream to occupy my mind. And then when I want to go to sleep, it's lights off. I used to sleep with the TV on. I can't do it anymore. So I put on my Calm app on my phone and listen to some crashing waves, and I'm out. So forcing myself to go to sleep is my only way to turn my brain off. And I know a lot of people say, you know, their mind's racing, they can't sleep, insomnia.
Yeah. I have that very bad. Very bad.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I dealt with insomnia for a very long time, and I'm out of it now, thank God. But I was the type of person, I didn't need sleep at all. I would sleep 2 hours and I was refreshed for the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I grow older, I'm going to be 40 this year.
Old man.
I know.
I'm 38, so.
I think once I hit 35, I realized I was fucking old. I couldn't do the things that I did before.
Right.
You know, it's crazy, but
yeah,
your body changes and you got to adjust to it.
Yeah, I hit 38 this year, just this couple months ago, and I was just like, man, like I'd say for the last about last 3 years, it was one of those things. Like, I guess you could kind of say like I was in kind of a rut with myself, you know, like, I mean, hell, you lived with me at that time. So, you know, like I was in a rut where I was I was just in a weird space in myself. And like, I just stopped caring about everything. And, you know, I gained quite a bit of weight, like a ton of weight. And I hit 38 and I was just like, damn, you know, like I'm gonna have to get this shit in check, or, you know, I might not make 50 if I don't get this shit in check. So I was just like, man, I'm going to have to start a diet or something like that. And, how far? I think I'm officially 9 days into my diet. Seems to be doing pretty good. I've done okay. Like I've totally knocked out sugars. For the most part, I've totally knocked out carbs. There was one instance where I ate something and I didn't realize it had like floury type stuff in it. Mm-hmm. I guess, I don't know. I don't even know what it was. It was a blackened chicken, and for some reason they had some type of stuff on top of it. I don't know what it was, but after I ate, I was just like, you know what? I think that had like doughy stuff in it, like almost like chicken crisp, you know, like when you make fried chicken and you have like the part of the stuff that comes off of it. Yeah. It was stuff like that, but it had like a doughy texture to it. And I didn't even realize it at first. And I was just like, I don't know what this is, but it tastes good. And then after I got done eating it, I was just like, you know what? I think that might have had doughy stuff in it. I probably shouldn't have had that. But I've done pretty good. Like I've completely cut out sodas. I haven't drank any whiskey, you guys. That's probably been the hardest part for me, is the switch to vodka. Switch to vodka. Well, actually, I switched to mead. Four Brothers Mead hooked me up.
It's probably just as bad as whiskey.
Actually, no, because the diet that I'm on, I can have honey.
Oh, okay.
Because honey's a natural sweetener. Yeah. So seeing that it's made out of honey and it's essentially made out of fruit,
we'll talk to Dan, see what
I talked to him whenever I went up there and bought it. He said essentially it's made out of the fruits that they have, which are, you know, I think pretty sure he said, you know, some organic type of fruits and stuff like that. Yeah. And
no bag of sugar in it. There's not a 5-pound bag of sugar in it.
No. He said yeast. There's a certain type of yeast that he uses that would probably be the worst thing for me in it, but it's not that bad. Yeah. I can have that in very minimal. It's not like I'm going no carbs at all. Like I can have carbs, but I can just have very, very minimal carbs. So it's not like I can sit back and, pound like 3 bottles a day. That would be bad for me. Yeah. But like if I just drink 1 bottle a day, that might be okay for me.
After this is over, I'll show you the meals that we buy.
Yeah, and I've been pretty good with it. Like I've stayed steady. I've been a lot of fruits and natural, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, and a lot of meat. So I'm on a paleo diet because I figured that would be the best for me, just because it's pretty much the way that I eat already. Yeah. Minus the heavily produced stuff and carbs. A lot of people, carbs and sugars.
Don't realize it, but the sugary drinks.
Yeah.
That's probably about 70% of where people get their weight gain from. Mm-hmm. Soda and things like that.
Oh yeah, that's most likely probably what mine was from. the amount of soda that I drink, because I fucking put down sodas, man.
As I just chugged down a San Pellegrino with 29 grams of sugar in it.
Yeah. But I mean, one thing I think my struggle with soda's an addiction, man. It's bad.
It can be, yeah. Sugar is definitely an addiction.
And my struggle with that. It was like it was more filling, you know, like I can sit here and drink. I got like a 24-ounce cup of, you know, cooler, you know, like a Yeti style cup, and I can drink probably about 9 of these things a day of water.
Yeah.
But like where I could take this thing here all day and maybe have 2 of a soda and have it all day. Whereas like with water, like, and I've noticed this over the course of the last 9 days of like, I'm drinking like 20 of these 24-ounce bottles of water a day. Like, and I just never feel full enough. I think that's been my biggest struggle, is not wanting to pick up a drink like that. Like everything else food wise, I don't have any problems with food wise. Like I can put that down. Biggest thing that I've had was like, since I work in the restaurant business, of wanting to pick and snack at stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like if I make something on the grill and be like, oh, well, you know, like say I make some German fries. German fries, people, for those who don't know what German fries are, fries are essentially they're sliced potatoes with white pepper, salt, and a little bit of onion. And if you're one of those fancy people, you can throw a little bit of garlic in it, and then you fry them. Fantastic fucking things. So like if I had an order for one of those, I would always throw like an extra couple of slices on.
Yep.
Now I can't do that, and I've found myself doing that. And then as I'm getting ready to put it in my mouth, I'm like, no, asshole, stop it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that like the biggest thing has been like the sugary drinks, you know, because working in a kitchen that's 90 degrees in a kitchen, we have air conditioner in there, but with all the ovens and the fryers and grills and stuff on, it's essentially it's like sitting in a 90-degree garage,
right?
With no airflow.
Yeah.
It's just heat. So it's one of those things. It's like I want to be refreshed, so I'm constantly drinking, like nonstop. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, like I'm constantly pissing too. So because I'm like, I'm drinking so much, but it's one of those things. It's one of those things that you know that you got to do. And I'm doing pretty good for being 9 days in. I'm also not keeping track of my weight because
don't worry about it.
That was
Don't even jump on the scale. Just do and then do it, you know, periodically.
Yeah, that was another thing that I've had a really hard time with, is because I get I've done the whole weight loss thing back when I was wrestling and stuff like that, losing weight and staying on course, and I would always be jumping on the scale every day, and then I would focus so much on the weight loss and not focus on the diet. Right. And I figured after several months of staying on course in the diet and getting used to it, and making it a habit, you know, like an everyday habit, then I would start weighing myself. But it's also one of those things, like if you stay on course with the diet and you notice that you're losing something, then you don't really need to jump on the scale every single day, because then that just gets you fixated on the weight, and then you don't pay attention to what you got to do, which is the diet and the fitness aspect of it.
Yeah. Just pay attention to how your clothes are fitting.
Yeah.
You don't need a scale.
No. But man.
It does keep you accountable, though.
Yeah.
You get on the scale and you see you gain 3 pounds, and then, you know, it's going to want to make you go even harder.
Yeah. See, I'm the total opposite. I get discouraged. Like I have that need of wanting to go harder, but I also get that little monster in the back of my head, and he's like, right. Look at you, you fat fuck. You can't fucking do it. Type stuff. Like, I knew you were going to be a failure. Like, and I constantly have, like, when I'm on something like this, like I have that constant pull of that good and bad, where it's like, go forward, drive hard, keep going. But then I have that little monster in the back of my head that goes, hey, fat fuck, look at you gained another fucking pound.
Exactly.
But that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Like I'm kind of that fucked up. I'm that fucked up of a person where I fight myself constantly to do shit. I had a podcast the other day. The audio was trash, and I felt so bad, and I was just like, F it, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I almost scrapped the whole podcast, but I was like, man, I can't do that to this person. Like the dude wanted to come on here, and he waited for several weeks for me to get ahead of the schedule. And I was also like, I can't do this to the guy. Like the dude waited like 3 weeks to get on here. And I was like, I can't just, be like, nah, man, I can't do it because this audio's trash. So I literally fought myself. Like I was literally like several minutes away from being like, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to drop the podcast. And then, I was sitting in a call with somebody, another friend of mine, Wild Man, Jesse, super cool dude, by the way. I was sitting in a call with him in here in the little conference room and, hanging out. I was sitting here working on the podcast, and I messaged him. I was like, hey dude, you want to hop in? And, he's like, yeah, man. And, I started looking on the back end of the podcast, and I noticed I had my first international download.
That's cool.
And I was like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
You totally redeemed yourself.
You totally redeemed yourself. So it was one of those things. It was like, I tell people on the podcast, I'm like, every morning that you wake up, you got to essentially 10 toes down. And unless your wheels of steel, she puts 4 wheels down. Another friend of mine, you guys all know her by now. She, it's one of those things you gotta essentially wake up every morning and be ready to fight. And when I say fight, I'm talking about myself, because that's one of those constant struggles that I have in my head of fighting myself. That little monster in the back of my head, he's constantly standing on my shoulders, being like, "Hey, fucker, hey, asshole," constantly berating me and beating me up. So that's when I say that, like, know you guys, when you guys hear this, that's that constant struggle that I talk about. Like, I have that struggle every single day to fight back those monsters and those demons that we have in our heads.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's definitely tough.
Yeah.
And I got, they say 22 veterans a day commit suicide. I got 22 tattooed on me.
Yeah.
Just to make me a little more motivated to stay around.
Yeah.
People need me here. I need them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to refuse to be a statistic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I need you. I need you, brother. I can't do my shit without you, man.
It's fucking unbelievable how weak-minded you can feel, but then once I fight it, I feel so fucking strong.
Mm-hmm.
Strong-minded. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah,
so,
the mind is a weird thing, especially when you internalize everything. That's one of the reasons why I try to tell people to talk about as much as you can, and be willing to try to break down those. Everybody has barriers that they put up within themselves. But I think it's good for a person to essentially try to, essentially almost like you're in battle, like you're out in the thick of it, in actual war, like you got to advance,
right.
No matter what happens.
Yeah.
To use that parallel for you, it's one of those things that the wars that we fight in our mind are 10 times as hard as the wars that we'd fight physically.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's good for people to understand that it's okay to be a little bit vulnerable sometimes and open up to people and be willing to gradually break down those barriers to those monsters and the demons that haunt us. It's a really freeing thing. Like, I still struggle with it. Like, my walls are fully broken down. Like, and I'll tell anybody anything about me. Like, I don't care. But it's not to say that monster's not still there. Like, it's still there. It's still there 100%. But it's one of those things that I'm more apt and more willing to fight against it now. And I've kind of conditioned myself to where, like I said, where I was really down and about ready to just quit the podcast thing. Well, at least that episode. And then I got that one little it's essentially like a Rocky moment, where you get beat down, and then you have the little old man on the outside of the thing going, "Get up, Rocky! Get up! Get up! You can do it, Rocky!" Don't stay down. It's one of those types of things where, and I see somebody that, and like, I didn't even see who it was. They didn't comment on anything. I just seen the international download, and I was like, nah, like, keep going, man. Keep fighting it. Keep going. And that's one of the things that drives and pushes me, is to see like people slide into the DM, or people be like, "Hey man, I really enjoyed this podcast," or "I really enjoyed what you're doing here," or just it's that motivation and that drive, and it's just like, it's almost bigger than me at some point. Yeah. Especially what I'm trying to do of build bridges, especially on multiple different realms of politics and culture and race and everything like that. Like, I'm really one of those people that I want to be able to build bridges to people instead of blowing those bridges up. Right. Some bridges do need to be blown up. I will admit that. I can't save, and I can't bring everybody into my circle. But for the people that are willing to stand on the bridge with me and have conversation, those are the people that I look for. And there's people like that in every walk of life. And those are the people that I'm trying to reach as for what I'm doing here.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know that you're trying to build, I think you talked about it on one of your podcasts that you're kind of doing, the True Hustle podcast. You guys go check that out too. He's got them up on his YouTube channel, TA Flags on YouTube. Go check him out.
And, Religious Flag Company on YouTube, and or you can be on Castbox, True Hustle podcast.
Yeah. Oh, you started putting that on Castbox?
Yep, I sure did.
Oh man,
I got 5 episodes on there.
Nice. I'm gonna have to. I still have Castbox. I'm gonna have to go back on there and listen to them, even though I edited them. I got to give you the extra views, man.
Yeah, the last 2, I realized I can actually download the audio too. So doing everything together, I just download the audio, threw them right on there from
that's another thing, guys. When we talked about it earlier, how me and him kind of work in unison with each other. Like, he helps me with shirt design type stuff. If I can't figure out how to do something, he helps me with that. Yeah. And or if I need stickers done, he helps me with that. And if he needs help on the audio end, since I guess you could say that I'm better at audio. Yeah. The one thing I'm better at.
Yeah, I don't have all that fancy equipment.
So, I've been editing his podcast on top of editing mine. So, like, when I say that me and him, we work almost in unison with each other, even outside of different realms. Like, we're like, I don't know how to explain us. We're just a weird dynamic, me and you. Yeah. I've always thought that, like, it's just like the weirdest dynamic of like,
people see us together and like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, it's two totally different mindsets for the most part. Like, everybody knows my mindset about shit. Rob has his mindset. He has his drive and work ethic and everything that he has, and then I just have me. But like, we're on 2 totally different spectrums, but like for some reason those spectrums are running parallel with each other.
Yep, I sure in the hell are.
And it's one of those things that you can do, like especially if you're a person that struggles with stuff, whether it be through life or relationship or wanting to go out and do something for yourself, like to find somebody that can push and make you drive harder, because I can honestly say seeing Rob and his stuff grow over the course of the last few years, that really kicked me in my ass. And it was just like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, this motherfucker started later than you and he's pushing harder than you. What the fuck is your problem? Like, get the fuck out of your funk and like fucking go, dude. Like, that was one of those things, like, and I do have to credit you, I credit you to, seeing all the shit that you did and the work ethic that you had that essentially got me out of that funk of like, being, beating myself up all the time. And it was just like, man, I gotta fucking go, dude.
Yeah, I'll kick your ass either way. So
yeah, physically or mentally.
Or mentally, I don't care. We'll get it done.
Yeah, like
that means a lot, dude. I love that. It's I'm always here for you, no matter what.
Oh yeah, man, and I'm here for you too. So, if you're, like you're struggling with something, you can always fucking drive up here, whatever.
Yeah,
and we can go tear some shit up. I got some shit that we're gonna tear up, man. I talked to my old man the other day. I think I told you this. I talked to my old man the other day. Most of you guys know my old man. He has an antique store up in St. Louis. We're several hours. I'm about an hour south, and he's probably about Rob's about 2 hours south.
Yep.
And my old man, they're doing him and his sisters and everything. They're kind of putting the antique store on the back burner for right now. They're going through a lot of stuff up there. But I told him, I go, well, Dad, I go, if you don't want to make money on this stuff, let me make that money. And if you want, I can split it with you. And he's like, well, I don't have a problem with that. So he goes, call your aunt, because she's the one that, handles all that stuff. I was like, all right, so I'm going to call my aunt, and I'm going to, if she says it's okay, I told somebody the other day, I go, I'm going to pillage that motherfucking place like a Viking. and the stuff that's going to be coming up on another shameless plug on www.jaysinstatic.com, you guys, is going to be freaking nuts. Some of the stuff that I got coming up, a lot of cool stuff coming up. And me and Rob, I don't know if we're going to talk about it yet. Maybe I'll have him back on for a small segment of when we get further down the line. But me and him's got a project together that we're cooking up. We briefly touched on it. So maybe this podcast would deserve a second listen to see if you can figure out what we were talking about, because we did mention it somewhere in this podcast, but we got something cooking, and when we're in a better spot to tell more about it, but we got a project together that we're going to do. And I think that's going to be just as good as it was before, with my flair of always being a nonconformist. A nonconformist of the man. the dynamic of what it was former and what it could be today, and since that we're both in better places now than we were back then, I think it's going to be super cool, this new thing that we got cooking. I know I'm leaving you guys hanging, but that's perfectly fine, and you guys are going to have to realize sometimes I'm just going to leave you hanging on things.
Yep, that's right.
But we're going to wind this thing down, man. We've been going for almost an hour and 30 minutes. We got about 11 minutes left. What is some stuff that you would like to push out, in some stuff that you got cooking on your end of the TA Flags type thing? What's some of the stuff that you've got in the pipeline that you're working on and doing?
A whole collection I'm creating right now of smaller farmhouse style signs. Anywhere from, phrases to go in your bathroom, to go in your kitchen, to go in your living room, welcome signs, pretty much the styles you see at Hobby Lobby and other craft stores like that.
Yeah.
Comparable prices, but they will last 100 years more than those signs. I use completely solid wood. It's not any sort of particle board. It's not cheap. It's not press board.
Right.
It's quality work.
Right.
So I'm trying to pump out a whole lot of new signs to reach the customers that I'm already reaching. 90% of my customers are women buying for their husbands, their fathers, brothers.
Right.
So I'm bringing things to the table that will suit them as well. So I've always had a knack for knowing what customers are going to want, what customers need. Because that's the way it always has been with my other two brands.
Yeah.
It's always women buying from men.
Right.
So now it's time for me to
bring the ladies on board.
The ladies, give them what they need.
Right.
Give them what they want. Buying quality products. They, like I said, there's competitive prices. Definitely going to be a little bit higher than what you can buy at Hobby Lobby. But like I said, these things aren't going to break. I throw a fit once in a while, and I'll chuck a sign across the shop, and it doesn't break.
Right.
They're solid. If I would have done that to a Hobby Lobby sign, it's unbelievable how many pieces you would have to pick up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm working on a whole collection, farmhouse design styles. I have a lot of welcome signs coming. I think I have 6 to 8 different welcome signs. Right now, I only offer the one.
Right.
The black welcome.
Yeah.
More merchandise. I'm definitely looking to get more hats done. Hats are selling like hotcakes. I'm on my second batch.
Oh my God, that's something I need to get into, dude. I've had so many people ask me about hats.
Yeah.
I need to get into that. I need to get into it.
They're cost friendly. I mean, they're cost effective.
Yeah.
You can make a profit off of them, selling a good quality hat for $30,
Yeah. I think it's my problem with that is I just need to find a good logo.
Yeah.
A good, friendly, easy logo to do. My problem is I wouldn't say a lot of my logos and designs that I do are kind of busy sometimes, and that's not good for something. It's good for a t-shirt.
Me, I like simple.
Yeah. So coming up with an idea of something for simplistic look on a hat that would look good. That's something. I might have to do patches almost. Like, I don't think embroidered would be a good fit for me because I think if I had patches done and then just the patches on the actual hat, I think those would look good.
Yeah.
Because then I could do a little bit busy of I wouldn't say a little bit busy, but like I could do the old Static Clan logo. I could do something like that, and I think that would look good on a hat.
Yeah, it's a round leather patch.
Yeah, I think something like that would good. Maybe I'll have to look into that. And I know you got some connects into that world.
Yeah.
What's some more stuff that you got clothing wise? Anything?
Definitely a lot more merchandise. I'm trying to do a lot of more patriotic stuff.
Yeah.
Things like the join or die flag, things like thin red lines, thin blue lines.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from the actual branches. There's trademark issues with those.
Right.
Merchandise. I'm getting into stickers again. I'll be offering like patriotic sticker packs. Maybe 6 to 8 stickers in a pack that you can buy for your for cars. Who doesn't love stickers?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I just received stickers yesterday from the world's most okayest candy shop.
Nice.
Yeah, she got her own stickers made, so she sent me a few of them.
Nice.
Yeah, I love stickers. Who doesn't love stickers?
Yeah.
So.
And that's another thing. Like I got a lot of designs that I design. And hell, I send them to you all the time. I'm just like, what do you think of this, dude? I think some of the designs that I've done on stuff would be cool on stickers.
Yeah.
And I think that's another realm that I'm looking to get into too with because it's something that's cost effective. Like it doesn't cost a lot to get them produced, and it doesn't cost a lot for a person to buy them. And that's one of the things that I have a hard time. Like I know I push my stuff out a lot. I'm constantly bombarding all my social media with stuff and products and stuff like that. And sometimes, I feel like a jerk because I'm pushing so much stuff out. And sometimes people buy stuff, sometimes people don't, but I want stuff that I know that's going to be worth it eventually, and pretty cool stuff too. But, I know some of the stuff that I push out is a little bit more on the expensive side, but I also want to get some stuff that's cost effective for me, where I can make a little bit and where it's also not a whole lot for the customer.
Right.
That's one of those hard dynamics to get into. Of
a happy medium for everyone.
Yeah. And so stickers, you getting in the sticker game?
Yeah, stickers, merch. I need to get more hats. They're flying off the shelves. Let's see, what else? More signs. I need to get the podcast going back up and going. It's been a while since I recorded an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you did an episode on the 4th, just a bullshit episode. Been on there.
When I'll tell you, whenever if my podcast starts growing and everything like that, the distributor that I have, Podbean, it's a paid service. Like I pay them to host me,
right?
So but with their service that they have, you can essentially set up like a network. Mm-hmm. And from what I've read and a little bit that I've looked into it, I can set up a network of like different shows. So if my shit grows a little bit to where I'm actually making something off of this by people listening to it, because right now, like, it's not bringing in anything, and that's cool as long as people are listening.
That reminds me too that I am going to start an affiliate program.
Mm-hmm.
So you plug the brand. You have your own code. If someone comes in and uses your code, you get a kickback.
Right.
Percentage off of that sale. So I'm definitely going to be looking for ambassadors, affiliates.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be an application. You just can't, hey, I want to be an affiliate.
Right.
You're going to have a following. You're going to have some sort of fan base, some sort of high follower social media.
Right.
And then you'll get 10% of a sale. So heck, $20 a sale, just for plugging me and getting people on board with TA Flag sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I'm doing with the podcast. I'm not in any of their ad programs yet because I'm not as high up in the in the ad program yet. So I haven't hit that threshold of where advertisers are going to be coming to me. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start doing my own my own advertising, to where I'm advertising people, like you, TA Flags. Actually, since we're on the podcast and this is going to go out to a bunch of people, I'm going to tell you that I've asked you about 6 times already to write me up something that I can do. And hey, everybody on the podcast, Tyler, I know that you're going to listen to this, Jesse, and whoever else listens to this, message Rob and be like, hey, Rob, you little fucker, write that shit down for Jaysin to talk about for an ad that he can put on the show. So
I'm putting it on my calendar right now.
So, so I'm going to just start pushing out people that, I respect, that has businesses and whatnot. And hopefully that can help kick back to them.
Yeah.
Of people like the first one that I did. I don't know if ads are running on my stuff yet. I know I set it up, but I set it up and I turned it on, but I don't know if they're running. I haven't checked them, but if you guys hear any ads, just listen through them. Right now, the first ad is it's essentially me pushing out www.jaysinstatic.com, and it's also pushing out my Patreon that I have through the podcast. That helps me essentially fund the operation since I'm a one-man show here. I do everything myself besides what Rob helps me with on designing certain stuff. And that helps me fund the thing, because I can tell you right now, like, over the course of these last 2 years of doing this podcast, I haven't made a dime, y'all. And I've racked up a huge debt doing this. So, and I'm not begging you guys for it. If you guys can do it, you guys can do it. All the links will be down in the description below for the Patreon. I got 3 tiers, a $1 tier, a $3 tier, and a $5 tier. And if you go to the link, that it'll tell you everything. I don't want to waste any more of your guys' time pumping that stuff to you. And then check out jaysinstatic.com. And if you guys can't give anything, just share the stuff out, because the more people that see this stuff, the more that it's going to help me. And I know everybody's struggling in hard times right now, especially with the whole COVID and the lockdowns and the shutdowns and stuff like that. So people are strapped. So just know, if you want to help me, if you guys really want to ride with me and you guys really want to help me, share my stuff out. Because that's the best thing that you can ever do for me is share my stuff out. That gets more eyes on the product, more potential for income to come in, and also do the same for Rob. We're essentially both small businesses, and over the last several months with the whole COVID stuff, small businesses have been being ransacked and destroyed, and small businesses are the backbone of this country. Right. Those are the people that are really in the thick of it, and these are the people that carry this country, whether most people want to believe that or not. It's those people that are really pushing for the American dream, and that's what this is all about, the American dream, of being able to reach people and bring people to a better spot.
Exactly.
So with that being said, we're gonna wind it down even more. Rob, I have a thing that, since you've listened to the episodes, that I like to leave everybody with, is a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of motivation for people to push hard and for whatever they want in their life. You got the floor, man. Give a little bit of that Rob TA Flags Marine motivation.
Let's see. Yeah, I should have thought about this earlier. I knew it was coming. Just go by what you believe in. Go by what brings you happiness, and go by what don't make you happy, and make that change.
Yep.
That's all I gotta say, because that's what I live by.
Yeah.
I keep that shit that doesn't make me happy in the front of my mind, and I do everything I can to try to change that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And hell, guys, that's pretty simple. Do the stuff that makes you happy, no matter what it is in your life, no matter who's against you. If it makes you happy, do it. Because that's the true key to happiness, you guys, is
right.
Doing something that you love to do, no matter the cost. No matter who tells you that you're doing it wrong, or no matter who's standing at you, beating you down because you're wasting your time on something that is insignificant to them. If it's just because it's insignificant to somebody else doesn't mean it's insignificant to you. Like I've had people for years tell me some of the stuff that I do is insignificant, but when they seen what it does for me, like I'll give you guys a quick example. Me and my father, we've never had the greatest relationship. It was always a pretty contentious relationship. And I've talked to you guys about this a lot. But over the last, I would say 3 to 4 years, the shift and change that I've seen between me and him, of him seeing that what I'm doing, while he might not care for it, he realizes that it's bringing me joy and happiness. Right. And he sees that I'm better off in my mindset and in my life. He's learned to accept that. And I can honestly say, at 38 years old, guys, the relationship that me and my dad have now over these last couple of years has been the best of my life. And that's coming from somebody that refused to talk to his father for 5+ years because of differences that we had with each other. Not even wanting to be in the same room or building with him, which means a total cutoff from all family. That's how bad it was with me and him. And me and him, we're on different fields, but we realize that those are the fields that we're in, and those are the fields that are making us happy. And to see my dad happy for me and to see me happy for my dad now, it's one of those freeing things when you start realizing stuff like that, guys. But to not drag this out anymore and to not keep Rob here any longer, because I know he's got to get back to work. Like I always say, guys, every morning that you wake up, 10 toes down, put your dukes up in the air and be ready to fight those fucking monsters that we have in our heads, or those monsters that we have in front of us, whether it be family members or not, because sometimes family members can be monsters too. You just gotta fight for yourself and do what you do and do what you have to do to make yourself happy. That's what it's all about, baby. And also go check out the Thumbs Down Crew on Facebook. It's a really cool group of people, and it's a community that I'm trying to build for like-minded people of wanting to drive and push people to be better. But other than that, you guys, I appreciate you guys and I love you guys, and I thank you guys for stopping by on another episode of the Jaysin Static Experience. Motherfuckers. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate you guys and I love you guys. Thank you. Rob, say goodbye, asshole.
Bye.